welcome to the panel. We are down to our lower bracket grand final. Winner heads to the grand finals up against EG, and we've basically been following Team Spirit on their journey to the grand finals, but this is their final step. They need to beat VGJ.Thunder, and we saw VGJ.Thunder play exceptionally well yesterday. Can Team Spirit do it?
They have definitely gotten the closest to Evil Geniuses, and Evil Geniuses is the gold standard right now for this tournament, undeniably so. They're in the grand finals, took a 2-0. VGJ.Thunder, they want that rematch, no doubt, but first they have to get through Team Spirit, and Team Spirit is on a hot streak. More often than not, sometimes you look at a lower bracket run and you're like, well, on the plus side, the team's feeling hot. They've come through 2 other teams, they've come through 2 other best of ones, relatively fast games. The thing is that you can only prepare for so many different opponents, and maybe they expected to be able to burn through their first 2, but VGJ.Thunder is another beast.
Scott?
I feel like this is exciting because it is that rematch of that upper bracket match where they had, which was very close. One of the, I think, better series alongside the EG-VGJ one we've had. Went the distance, was very much a series I feel like came down to the drafts a bit, which is where Spirit will, I think, looked really good in that series, but their drafts let them down, especially in that game 3. So I think Spirit coming to this are going to be learning a lot from that past series and ready to potentially upset or at least get some revenge against VGJT.
Now, Lumi, we know that VGJ, they've probably been watching all of these matches and scrimming backstage. What do you think that they're going to be looking for going into this matchup against Spirit?
Actually, they just rolled in on the bus, so I don't know if they've been watching replays or scrimming.
They may have. They were...
What?
They were in the arena.
Okay. No, I thought we got words from production that they were...
They were in the training house, I think.
Oh, I see.
So
And
I'm
they're
pretty
coming
sure
from
they
training house. Okay.
Yes.
So they're watching the
training
replays,
house?
playing their pubs. All right, that's good.
I think normally when you're lose the upper bracket matchup and you're waiting the lower bracket, generally in other events you have more of an advantage because you have a more concrete idea of who you're facing up against.
Yeah.
Whereas for them today, they had a possibility of 3 to 4 teams, and these best of ones have been very short, so I'm not exactly sure how much time they had kind of predicting which opponent they're going to face. I think the fact that they drew Team Spirit as their opponent is probably a good thing for them because they played already a full best of 3 against them yesterday, so they should have a very strong understanding. But my bigger concern for the team is what Sylar said during his interview. The team is really, really young. Sylar obviously has probably the most competitive experience. Yang being the second highest. Yang haven't been to a TI, although he qualified to it, had some visa issue last time, so he couldn't make the TI. And then you look at the rest of the 3 members, Freeze, Fade, IO, they play together a lot in VG Potential as a core. Really reminds me of the IG Vitality lineup where they brought in Burning next to 4 relatively unexperienced player. And it's the same situation here. So it's ROTK, it's Sylar trying to invigorate some experience on this team, and these kind of situations are a do or die, right? It's a best of 1, you're facing elimination, you're playing on a stage, and it's rough, so let's see if they're going to do it.
Draft is live, so we're going to jump into that right now. Now, ideally for a team, I don't know if you guys have spoken to teams about this before, but would you as a team prefer to wait in the lower bracket as the last opponent or be the one to climb through the lower bracket to the grand finals?
Climbing through the lower bracket means that Evil Geniuses has a ton of drafts to look at. And so, as it is, most people would consider Evil Geniuses, specifically Misery's drafts, to be exceptionally prepared for any opponent. But whenever you have to make such a long run, you show a lot of strategies, especially in a best of 1 situation. You gave away a brood mode strategy, technically. And that's something that Spirit now maybe don't have an ace in the hole. And for VGJ.Thunder, you use 2 strategies against Evil Geniuses. You're going to have to use another one against Team Spirit. Maybe they won't have to step too far out of their comfort zone, seeing as how VGJ.Thunder already did take down Spirit once. But regardless, Evil Geniuses is sitting pretty right now, so it's never a good look to be in the lower bracket.
Any extra words to add to that?
I agree. I think first and foremost, you want to be in the winner bracket.
Big if true.
I mean, you want to have that extra life. Obviously, once you're in the grand finals from the winner bracket, you lose that extra life, which is kind of the unfortunate thing for a team like EG, but end of the day, they guaranteed a top 2 placing. So I think there is something to be said for the momentum you can build up, clawing your way through a lower bracket, but ultimately the security is going to be the nicest thing to have.
We've got the opening draft here as well. Elder Titan and Tiny for VGJ.Thunder. Team Spirit picking up an early DK along with their famed Witch Doctor.
Really like the DK pick here from Team Spirit. First of all, it really fits their playstyle. They want to be aggressively killing things and running at towers. Dragon Knight is really built for that. And it's really one of VGJ's go-to hero, either in the safe lane or in the mid lane. So the fact that they were able to nab it away is a pretty big win in my books. But I have to say, if there's one position 4 hero that has impressed me the most in this event, has to be Elder Titan. We've seen Jirax play it. We've seen Crit playing it. So I'm pretty sure Fade will be able to do the same. It's just the impact of the hero in the early rotations, in the mid-game team fights, is just absolutely exceptional.
Nice thing about Dragon Knight is you get a lot of extra bonus armor that doesn't get reduced.
Sure.
But obviously, you're picking the ET for so much more than just the aura. He's got great initiation, great ultimate.
I mean, these days we've been seeing Elder Titan be more valuable with the magic aura, which initially a lot of people were really sad about natural order being tied with the armor to the hero, but teams have figured out ways to make it work with putting the magic damage nukes and letting the spirit go forward. Like in the EG series, whenever they ran Morphling ET, that DK that they were up against just got shredded.
So VGJ.Thunder going to be eliminating the Venomancer and Drow. Team Spirit going to insta-give the Disruptor and also the Death Prophet. Now, a couple of heroes that made it through. VGJ, they have been running the Ancient Apparition that maybe they could be considering this, maybe, because of the heals from the Witch Doctor and the Dragon Knight. Is this a hero that you might look at? Although pairing it with an Elder Titan is ideal.
I like the Dazzle more from them, something that has more synergy with the draft. The AA is normally less about synergizing with your draft and more about countering your opponents. I think end of the day, you want to make sure you put together a group of 5 heroes that's going to be strong. Yeah,
there we go.
Yep. It really fits the team's play style because I think VGJ.Thunder does their best when they're being reactive. I think when they're looking for the smoke ganks being on the offensive, sometimes they botch it up. Whereas if they put that tanky core up in the front and then you let AO sit really far back with Graves ready, I think that's where they're at the best. So I think that's what really fits their playstyle well.
5 seconds.
Now you look at this if you're Team Spirit. How would you react to this Dazzle pick? How do you actually deal with the Dazzle to begin with?
Teams have tried to figure out ways.
Silences. Storm has always been a great one because you just pull past the cores. The hard thing with Dazzle is he's got these tanky cores in front that you have to get past to stop Grave from coming out. We've seen AA used, but Storm, mobile heroes, Queen of Pains can be good. So those are kind of the heroes you might go for. Or you just pick like a Brood and cheese them, you know, that's also an option. Yeah,
in Spirit's elimination game against AO's Dazzle, they attempted to run that Luna Aghanim Scepter, but it was the symptoms that you were describing. It's just tanky frontline cores that ate up every single Lucent Beam, Dazzle quietly waiting in the back, waiting for a moment to Shallow Grave.
And Team Spirit going to be locking in the Earth Spirit, so that looks like it's going to be the supporting duo, but VGJ going for that Lycan. He wasn't banned.
Now you need something. Now you do need to react, I feel like, if you're in Spirit Chief. You can't just draft for yourself. You have to deal with a Lycan pick. Lycan Dazzle, a lot of strong push coming your way. Whether it's something like a Brood and you try and mess with the lanes, or something that's a counter pick more like the Axe. They have very little wave clear on the side of Team Spirit right now. I'm
feeling like an Underlord here for Team Spirit. It's not a look that we've seen DK Phobos pick up for himself yet, but you're up against a ton of melee heroes, so I feel like the Pit of Malice and the Firestorm is going to get a lot of value. And of course, you're up against a relatively pushing heavy core, so having more AoE is never a bad thing. And of course, gives you better Roshan as well. I just don't know how often Team Spirit actually look at Underlord as a hero.
The other area we've seen teams punish Lycans is the laning stage. He's not a dominant laner, so you could. Witch Doctor's pretty good for aggro tri-lanes. Earth Spirit's a hero that also can fit in there. So if they want to pick up a third strong core to go with those two, they could aggro the Lycan.
Are you willing to go up against the relatively strong supporting duo of an Elder Titan and a Dazzle, though? Because that's intimidating to go up against, because if you overextend just a little bit, what seems like a bad laning phase from Lycan suddenly turns into early lane superiority. Especially if you do like some cheeky, we've been seeing Wolf build take a resurgence with a Dazzle. You have a heal bomb potential there. Elder Titan walks in face first, reduce the armor. That's a scary tri-lane if VGJ.Thunder want to play it super defensive.
Could you go for a slippery hero maybe? Because you look at VGJ.Thunder's lockdown, they don't really have any of it.
Not yet. Tiny will be the forefront of the lockdown, but VGJ.Thunder also loves to 5th pick an LC, which gives them quite a bit of lockdown. So it's a good idea, but also something that I have to keep in mind. It's going to be an Enchantress.
Oh God, you're drafted.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a off-lane hero, I want to say. It's Enchantress versus Lycan, steal the Necrobooks. There you go.
Yeah.
Something we haven't seen picked up too much against Lycan, but on paper it makes a lot of sense.
And whenever it happens, typically Lycans immediately bypass the Necrobook. We've been seeing Echo Saber, sometimes Desolator, sometimes even a return back to the Mask of Madness that a lot of people kind of fell off whenever Helm of the Dominator took over, but that's instantly it has to shift Lycan's priorities, and instantly it also shifts how Lycan's going to be played. Now you're not going to be able to do that raw pushing, super early Roche, that kind of business. It's not going to be as easy whenever you have to deal with an Enchantress.
So how do you react to this if you're VGJ.Thunder? You know, what is this Enchantress's job this game?
Well, Enchantress, first of all, you really mitigate what the Helm of the Dominator build for Lycan does. I mean, the whole idea is you get the HOD, you get a creep, but Enchantress can steal it pretty easily. The concern here for the Enchantress's pick is that you're up against Tiny, so that's a lot of AoE magic bursts, and then there's the Elder Titan Aura on top of that. So that is a big concern for me. For VGJ.Thunder, they could pick up an offlane that could deal a ton of magic burst damage. That's where I'm gonna come in and look, because I feel like this Enchantress, as nice she is in the laning stage, I feel like she could just get bursted down pretty easily.
It's a hero that you need to have that dominant. If you lose the lanes with Enchantress, the hero is useless.
Yep.
Maybe in a game, if Lycan goes summons, obviously you've got some purpose, but you're not going to feel like a strong core when you're a struggling Enchantress.
We're not going to be seeing the Legion Commander, it looks like, banned out by Team Spirit. So they're going to have to look for an alternative this matchup. Laning-wise, is this definitely that mid-Tiny?
No, it could be Lycan mid because you want to dodge the lane against Enchantress. I could see them mixing it up. Just because it's going to depend what Spirit pick. You also don't know where Dragonite's going. Is he mid? Is he safe lane? Sven gets picked up.
Wow.
That's another Lycan counter.
That's Illidan Classic.
Technically, it's also considered a Elder Titan semi-counter because of the bonus armor he provides, correct?
That is true.
Yeah.
At the same time, Daz also provides your team a ton of armor with Weave as well, so.
Definitely not worried about the armor reduction from ET or the magic damage is perhaps where you're concerned. And that's where I feel VGJ.Thunder, Lumi mentioned it, get a heavy magic damage hero as your last pick.
A Puck, perhaps?
Yeah.
Hasn't been banned out.
Ag's Puck against Sven sounds pretty fantastic as well.
Venomancer in the off lane.
It's banned out. With, they banned it against DK Phobos.
Of course you ban it against Phobos.
Another route that you could go about it is you just pick up like an insane AoE team fight. That's, I think, one of the weaknesses of Team Spirit. Like TIE Hunter, for example, comes to mind. I mean, this is a Chinese team after all. Team fights their bread and butter.
I'm not sure if they might go for it, but maybe we see a Panda on the side of VGJ.Thunder. It hasn't been banned out yet.
Seems quite decent here against the Sven.
I mean, Cyclone's super irritating to deal with as a Sven. You have to force both of these cores into BKBs, which, seeing as how they're both strength cores, they don't really mind having to go early BKBs. And when you're up against a Lycan, chances are that even if you spend an early BKB, comes down to 5 seconds, there's not that much you're concerned about, but they go for a Bat Rider, which does provide a fair amount of magic damage and provides a lot of crowd control.
Played a sick Bat Rider yesterday.
That he did.
That's good. It's magic damage, a hero that can kill and deal with an Enchantress, can initiate on a Sven. There's no good ways of dealing with Lasso this game. Yeah, I think it's a very strong pick for VGJ.
I would love to start hearing some of these predictions. Are we going for VGJ.Thunder or Team Spirit for the grand final slot?
I think this is one of the most even drafts that we've seen today. Seeing as how Spirit have been coming in really hot, I'm going to go with Spirit for this game.
One for Spirit?
I'm going to go with the VGJ.Thunder. In a best of one, I feel like the more balanced draft generally tends to work a lot better. Team Spirit does a very strong mid-game timing around the 15 to 20 min mark. Once Sven gets that first major item, once Dragonite gets his ult, that's where they need to do a lot. But I feel like Thunder will be able to withstand that push and go for more to a mid-game, late-game victory.
So we have one for Thunder?
I'll back up Tsunami. I'm going to go with Spirit too. I think the laning stage, the strong laning presence of a Witch Doctor that can help at least mitigate what Bat's going to do. Enchantress is just a lane winner as well. I think their early game looks really good.
All right, looks like everyone's done on the panel. We're going to throw it over to the casters right now. Let's head on over to this lower bracket finals. Cheers, guys.
Cheers indeed. We got a wonderful one. Ladies and gentlemen out there in the Philippine arena, hello and welcome. Lower bracket finals. Excited action coming up here. Lacoste, my man, what do you think? CIS facing off against China. Who's coming out on top?
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to watch CIS against China. It's a clash of two different regions, two different play styles. We can already see classic Team Spirit's lineup. Like, look at this DK. All armor plus Sven Warcry plus a lot of heal. That's their typical lineup right there with a lot of push potential. I wonder what Thunder is going to do to deal with this offlane Ench. It's one of the most annoying heroes to play against. Yeah, they need to have Tiny, and they will need to put Lycan on a mid, as I was expecting, because Lycan can't do anything against Untouchable. I mean, that's why it's called Untouchable, right? Because you can't touch her. Wow.
Mind blown as per usual, Lacoste. Yeah, a ward placed down there as well by the Earth Spirit, trying to get some good vision out. You know, always when we take a look at these matches, you start to think about where the lane's going to work out, who's going to have the natural advantage there. Is there anything that you're seeing as a mismatch that either Team Spirit or VGJ are going to try and avoid?
Well, they're trying to avoid the lane I was talking about. The mid matchup, Lycan against the DK should be pretty even. They have a good kill potential on top. I mean, on the bottom lane with Ench. They just need to rotate Earth Spirit.
Okay. Well, we'll keep our eyes on that one, of course. Moving in here, DK Phobos is sort of in the same area as Freeze, who's playing in the safe lane as well, as they're looking to try and come in and secure this bounty rune. He is going to be able to move forward and take it. So a couple of them taken there, as DK Phobos going to punch him a few times on the backside. Top lane, everything all fine and dandy as well. And well, he takes the tree, going to hit Bambi a few times, and apparently they want a battle. Early action here. Cam is chasing, he's coming for you. Look out. Gets one more tree toss as well. The crowd already getting hyped up by this one, as Enchantress going to keep the aggression on.
Yeah, I love the build on Ench. Mango, just so she can buy a magic stick, extra fairy fire so she can juke with it, 10 tangos. It's pretty much impossible to actually zone her out.
Yeah.
That's going to be a big problem, the bottom lane for VGJ.Thunder.
Continuing to trade hits here, as well as there's action going on up top. Got to keep our eyes on this. There's a lot of potential for kills in these lanes. Where do you feel like we're going to see the first blood, though?
If someone rotates on the bottom lane, Ench can get easily a first blood. I'm wondering if DK Phobos wants to go for Orb of Venom just for the extra harassment on her. It's super annoying.
Yeah, definitely a possibility. Sylar pops the howl right there, and Ench gonna take some damage as AO is beating away at her as well. Meanwhile, up in the top lane, more action coming through. They're gonna try and roll. The stun comes out as well as they're beating away at Yang. A good bit of damage with the Maledict, but he should be able to live through that one.
Oh, Sven, only level 1. Once they get level 2, with the Warcry they can actually chase. They just need the Maledict to be able to cool down again.
Yeah. Well, another roll in here. Misses off the mark onto Yang, and wow, FNG taking a lot of damage as well. They might just assert to try and turn and find this kill. Can he do it? No! First blood drawn by Illidan.
Yeah, we're in for a treat, boys. Illidan on Sven. I didn't see him for quite some time. Brings back the memories.
Yeah, it's one of his real classic heroes, isn't it?
Yeah. Sven's gonna be a real problem. I mean, they have Dazzle with Revive against the Warcry, but then also you have Elder Titan ulti just to remove the armor from these heroes.
Yeah, something to watch out for sure. So 2 minutes in, relatively even across the lane so far. I mean, Batrider's getting a lot done here, and it does look like as far as the laning stage matchup works out, like, does Yang need to be careful here? Or are they just going to keep sending bodies at him?
Yeah, definitely. They have a good kill potential. They're even going to deboard this deep ward. FNG is so good at reading where they're actually placing observers.
Yeah. Well, and now back towards mid again. Sylar just continuing to square off here against the DK. Farm Fest, if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, there was a game yesterday where FNG bought around 50 sentry wards.
Did he get a bunch of D-wards with it, or was he just, all right?
He was playing Shadow Shaman, ended up with Tranquil Boots and I think Wind Blaze.
Well, there's going to be the stun, the follow-up as well, all over Yang. The turnaround, they're able to interrupt the stomp as well, but it's 5 stacks on Ill, and it doesn't matter. They take down that Batrider Fade, trying to find a kill in return, but he's able to get the stick off, staying alive. Viver just trying to skin him his teeth, the stun comes out. A second time, they turn onto Fade, and VGJ.Thunder going to, don't worry, nobody saw it, but the cask is going to bounce, and Viver, he's a little bit worried. They still have the stomp, but the stun still walking away and is going to finally fall.
What a play from Viver there. Just not getting close so that he doesn't die from Astral Spirit and the Stomp. This lane is really lost for VGJ, so they should just try to focus and win other lanes now. There's no point for Elder Titan to be on top anymore. He's double stacking for Batrider to come back into the game.
Yeah, and if Fade is able to get this stuff going for Bat, it's going to be a very accelerated, either Drums or Blink, but yeah, it's a good decision for them to try and get out of there for the moment. Don't want to end up fully committing and then losing out on it as the time goes on.
DK Phobos, this is experience right there. He's bringing even more tangles on the lane so he can't get harassed. Also picked up 1 level in Enchant, so there's an extra region from Satyr. Satyr. Do you call it Satyr or Satyr?
I don't call it anything. I don't even talk about that hero.
Hadouken creep.
Exactly, Hadouken creep. You got it. Mid lane, AO maybe looking to try and set up here. The heal bomb did not connect.
Yeah, the heal bomb is going to deal a lot of damage. Once Lycan finishes the Necro Block plus Wolves, it feels like when you have over 5 units, it deals 2,000 damage. Someone should test it out for me and get me a number.
Certainly a lot of damage.
No, it feels way more than it actually is. It's a maximum 7 heal targets, so it should be around 1,000 damage, but it feels way more.
Yeah. Well, top lane, Illidan still farming away here after the hot start that they had in that top lane, and starting to think about where things might change later on down the line for VGJ.Thunder. Do they need to make any moves, or do you need to wait till you get more levels on these heroes before they can move?
I mean, Tiny is what, level 5, so they have enough burst damage to actually kill the enchant. They just need to move Elder Titan. The problem is Team Spirit will probably rotate mid. Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. Smoke, you always play around those cooldowns. When DK or let's say DP hit level 6, you have that extra siege creep, so you want to pressure the tower.
Yeah, always a very strong timing. Fade is going to be there to try and hold it off in that naturally very survivable EC.
Is he actually trying to deny the siege creep? Oh, he's just faking it.
Oh, nice kick back there as well. Immediately into the stun, and he never stood a chance. My goodness.
That was actually a nice play, just trying to get extra hit on that siege creep, so that they think that supports are not there.
Yeah. Nicely done. Well, Illidan now. He is being ganked for currently, as Yang is going to go for the Firefly, but a little bit of a bait comes out, and they find that Batrider. Good amount of damage, but now they're just going to try and run away. Unfortunately, Kama is here as well, able to deal a lot of damage to Viper. He's going to fall. Illidan almost goes down. They are going to be able to find that kill. VGJ.Thunder respond triumphantly.
That's exactly what they needed to get Batrider into the game. Nice rotation there by Tiny, though. You don't expect your level 6 Tiny to actually TP on the lane and help, but they were too deep.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Absolutely, and got an illusion rune bottled as well. Can maybe deal a little bit of damage to this tower, but feeling like they're making a comeback. Is mid lane ILTW going to be stomped? They have a big heal bomb here if they want to try to use it. Body blocks as well coming in. They're even going to clap at him, but the turnaround stun, pretty good. Is it going to be enough? Looks like the answer is no. As Sylar chasing, he stunned the wrong creep. And Sylar is able to find the kill. Now they're looking forward for the Earth Spirit as well. FNG trying to disrupt this all. They do have a follow-up stun at Viper, trying to stay alive underneath the cover of that shrine, and just barely able to live through that one.
Yeah, Lycan is so strong right now, especially with that extra creep from Helm of the Dominator. Even DK is threatened, who has level 2 Dragon Blood, but he still goes down.
Yeah, that's a Helm of the Dominator no boots Lycan. Watch out for that in your pubs, because it's coming, as Kama is going to get caught in the top lane. They are going to try and toss away the Sven, but with that Maledict damage, another avalanche. Is he actually going to live through this? It's pretty close, and will finally fall.
It's a no. Tiny stayed way too long on that top lane. Drums already popped on Batrider.
Another roll away. They got the poison touch, the follow-up stun. It feels right now it's just like two enemies like bashing their heads against each other.
Earth Spirit is involved.
Is he dead? Byron, he's trying to run. He's gonna get ran at by these wolves. Smoke, it's not helpful.
Whoa, that's also a waste of smoke.
And Illidan,
nice block.
4 stacks, needing to TP away from there, trying to deal the damage. Isn't enough? They get it.
Sylar. Can we hear some claps from the audience as well?
Man, VGJ Storm there. They are completely pulling this back around, and now the tier 1 tower gonna fall in the top lane. Bottom lane was also being pushed though, so this very high-tempo game #1, and they want a date with Destiny and EG.
When your tier 1 tower is pressured, what you do is just rotate your safe lane or a mid to a tier 1 tower on top and just trade it. It doesn't feel like any of the teams actually defend it, because tier 1 towers don't matter that much. Because usually what you do after it is called the classic jungle switcheroo. So you go to enemy jungle and they go to yours.
Sylar now, after finishing off the treads in the Helm of the Dominator, is going to start building towards that Necro book. The panel did talk about the help that Enchantress can give of taking over the Necro creeps as well as the summons from the Helm of the Dominator. It feels like that's going to need to be something that...
Yeah, well, you need to be there to actually do it.
Exactly.
You can't, it's not global. Also, Witch Doctor's cask is really good against Lycan units.
Well, mid lane, the tower still not taken for VGJ.Thunder as LTW holding the line in the mid. They want to bring in Bambi and start to pressure this one out maybe a little bit, or at least push out the wave. Do you feel like Team Spirit can be aggressive again soon, or are they the ones that need to play on the defensive now?
I think they should just pressure the mid tower. It's on half HP. They have Dragon Form up, but the problem is that Earth Spirit is kind of underleveled. He was involved in 5 kills, but a lot of that XP was shared between 3 of them. I don't know if there's a book.
He has it queued up right now, but hasn't bought it yet.
Witch Doctor bought it, but it should go to Earth Spirit actually.
Okay. Well, they drop down a ward there in the mid lane, wanting to make sure that they have eyes on all over this area. The Observer ward is about to wear off, but with a Catapult here as well as a Centaur. Now, the reality is, though, that VGJ.Thunder, they're prepared for this. It's kind of hard to push this tower with ET constantly spamming out the waves with the Astral Spirit.
Yeah, ET is one of the most annoying heroes to play against, especially when you try to siege tier 3 towers. What is my boy Witch Doctor? He actually took the book for himself, which is kind of weird because the Earth Spirit is still level 4. Earth Spirit deals way more damage when he hits level 6 than Witch Doctor. And now he's even stealing some of the XP so he can get to level 6.
Interesting. Well, they're going to need to get a lot done with this Witch Doctor.
Someone's getting reported after the game.
Absolutely. Always with the reports.
Yep. Or if he leaves PC open, maybe Viber stays in the booth and transfers some of the items.
Oh, okay. The classic. Yeah, definitely. We've seen that before.
Easy rares.
Now, Enchantress getting into her next item as well, and it looks like instead of Team Spirit being the one to push, it's going to be VGJ.Thunder who take the field mid and try and pressure down this tower. Yang, he walks up here, has the drums already in hand, and well, does spot out LTW, but not going to be able to find him. It's just a free tier 1 tower, and there's not really that much gain for Team Spirit for this.
They need to use the Enchantress. She is really tanky now, has Hood plus phase boots, which makes her really speedy in those fights, hard to catch. She's not involved in any of those skills. So if they want to make a move, they should involve Ench.
Okay. Well, FNG, level 6 as well. You talked about the Earth Spirit levels. He just now hits level 6, but immediately, tries to find him. Good silence there. This guy plays Earth Spirit.
They should smoke right now with the Earth Spirit, but he has no mana. Shrine is ready.
And FNG walking forward. The scan hits. They realize what's coming, and Kama going to back out. They don't find him, but they will be able to try and pressure for the tower. Maybe it's just kind of a wasted movement again.
Yeah, they want to fight right now, but they're wasting a lot of time. They have Arcane Rune on DK, which is the best one you can get, especially for the later stages of the game. You just want to pop that ulti no matter what.
And he might just have to in a second here if he wants to get the full value from it, but in the meantime, the rotation is coming in. VGJ.Thunder, the smoke pops right outside of that ward, so completely under vision. We'll see how Team Spirit respond.
Team Spirit has a good vision of their own jungle. This ward over here was prepared if they want to do the jungle switcheroo. Really also ward on top. I mean, these two wards are super close, so they want to have a vision where they're actually moving to defend that tier 1 tower.
Definitely.
Let's talk about Sven. Sven with Mask of Madness is going for Echo Saber. I'm not a big fan of that build. delays.
What's the issue you're going to run into?
Well, you run out of the items pretty quickly on Sven. That's a big problem.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And there's always a better choice, at least for me, when you're playing Sven. Echo Saber seems kind of underwhelming at the time.
He's going to roll in right as Orochi's going down, but Fade there to block his way. Nicely played, and Ivor's going to end up going down here. So Roshan, the first one, is going to go to Kama. The Tiny taking the Aegis with a Blink Dagger in hand. He's going to start to do some damage.
Yeah, I think maybe SNY would be a better choice than Sven, just to have that extra HP against all these heroes. Into the blink, I'm not sure.
They find him, there's the stun. Witch Doctor Ultimate about to come out as well if they want to use it. He ends up channeling it now and is going to end up bringing down the Tiny at least one time. No, the Grave comes out. Kama's safe for the moment. He's living through this one, at least for now. Eventually will fall, but they might have bought enough time for the rest of these guys to get into there. A good Earth Spirit ulti isn't going to be enough, though. The Batrider pulls it back in. Yet again, they're all starting to fall apart. Sven, he just wants to hit somebody, but he's being kited to all get up. 3 dead. Spirit nowhere left to go, and FNG just gonna have to TP out of there.
Oh,
but look at the damage!
Whoa! That's the heal bomb with just 3 units. They should not take that fight, especially not on Tiny with an Aegis. Really weird decision making.
Man.
I mean, after they take the fight, VGJ.Thunder has so much to take those towers down. Now they know there's a Dragon Form on the cooldown, you have Earth Spirit on the cooldown, so they might actually go for both tier 2 towers.
Yeah, this could be a real disaster. As you said, all those ultimates on cooldown now, and I'm just trying to figure out where you respond to this, because these towers drop just so quickly. He was able to take over the Necronomicon, which is about the best thing that we could say. Look at him, he's going. He wants to punch him. Tiny punches a little harder. And now they take down the creep, but even that isn't easy. It's a tough ride here for Team Spirit to pull themselves back.
I'm surprised they didn't commit to a tier 2 tower. I mean, it's a Chinese team, they are not gonna risk anything if they don't have to, so back to farming. I mean, they already have 5k gold advantage. That's gonna be a Necro 3 in a couple of seconds finished for Lycan.
Yeah. Well, and you mentioned it earlier as well. The problem that you're running into is there's just so much vision that's around the map. You've got the wolves that are scouting thing out. You just saw as well that one observer ward that was placed inside the ancient stack. It got eyes on the smoke that was coming out, and now Kama walking forward. The smoke breaks. They do spot out Viber there. If they wanted to, they could go for an Abatos. Invis Rune making all the difference in the world here. FNG. They're thinking about it. Instead, they're going to go for the backlines over there to the side. The stomp, it connects onto 2. That's going to be a Tiny, almost able to take down the DK. Meanwhile, the ulti comes out from the ET. Team Spirit, they just got completely played there. And, well, off to the side, it's going to be the DK running down as well. Great recognition of exactly what they needed to do, and Armlet isn't going to save you from that.
Tiny did not want to be greedy there. He actually went for a DK because he was just providing info for his team where the enemy heroes are. You know what the play is here if you don't want to get your Necronomicon stolen?
Oh, well, maybe just kill off Illidan. They do have no more enchant right now. They're just going to solo out that Sven. He didn't have anywhere left to go. Sylar's running, is going to get stunned. Another one of those impetus is going out, but FNG is just taking all the damage in the world. These summons are killing off the Witch Doctor, now turning on a Phobos. Witch Doctor ultimate from the high ground. It's not hitting on anybody anymore. Yang's thinking about chasing, but they are finally going to back out.
Mud Golem had Pearl Boulder ready, and Chan just didn't use it to stop the TP. Maybe she could have gotten a kill.
Unfortunate stuff. 16-5. It's an 8,000 net worth lead, and as has been the theme throughout today, a lot of stomping going on right now.
Yeah, especially when you have ET. He has that Echo Stomp. Let's get back to the things that matter. I was talking about how to counter Enchantress stealing your Necronomicon creeps. You get a Lincoln Sphere and pop it on the one that you don't want to get stolen.
That's also next level.
That's super next level, man.
All right, Yang now, he's getting towards that Force Staff as well. And it seems like the biggest issue for VGJ.Thunder is that they run out of mana because they kill him too quickly, which is not a bad problem to have. And Tiny, he's going to move up towards the top, but DK will spot this rotation coming in, so it shouldn't end up being a kill. As ILTW going to TP away. He did have a blink, but a bit too late.
They should just continue to pressure. They have still tier 2 towers to take down. Roche is not gonna spawn for another 3 minutes at least. Look at how many sentries Team Spirit is placing. Every time he places a Obs ward, he places a sentry ward before, just to be sure that he doesn't get devoted.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate, needing to make sure that you keep those wolves off you and everything else. Yang is smoked up here. They're looking to try and pick somebody off by the tier 2 tower top. Now, the one thing that we should mention is that in previous games, VGJ.Thunder have had trouble closing them out. They've had trouble with comebacks happening. Most recently, of course, that EG series in game number 2 last night. Is this a game where if it goes on long enough, Team Spirit can eventually start to come back?
I don't think they're making that mistake again, especially not in this game where they have so many counters for DK and Sven. Oh, look at the damage on Lycan, 300 damage.
Yeah, this guy hits towers rather rapidly. The roll in, but they're gonna pull back in the DK as well. A stun onto 2, it's not bad, but ILTW is going to fall. And meanwhile, off on the other side, they're taking up all this damage with Sylar. The Grave comes out, he's living through all this, and Illidan just can't hit anybody.
Yeah, that's
what?
He actually gets him with Maledict.
Oh my goodness, nicely played. So they managed to take down the Lycan, and now AO trying to run away from there as well. It's still an 8,000 net worth lead, but they won't be able to find any of the other heroes from VGJ.Thunder, it looks like.
800 gold in pockets of Witch Doctor, that's gonna be a lot of sentries for him. He can actually buy a gem for that gold.
Yeah, if he wants to, he could buy a wand. He's living the big life. So, you talked a little bit about the counters that you feel like they have. They're actually gonna go back in again, I think. Yang is there, he's got a blink, he's got a force. No lasso, but he's just gonna jump on top of Illidan and force him to make another move. DK Phobos is gonna force staff away Illidan yet again. Now Kama chasing Ava, they've got the toss, they've got the kill. Another one, and Fade looking to try and finish off Phobos here as well. He has another Astral Spirit in a second if he wants to use it. Follow that up with the stomp, and Bambi nowhere left to go. Gonna be slept, gonna be tossed on, and another avalanche to follow. It's all falling apart. Team Spirit can't catch a break unless Bambi's quick as all heck, and is running away still, getting a lot of heals, but they will eventually stomp her down.
I mean, meanwhile, nothing is happening pretty much on the other side of the map. You have a DK who's kind of farming, but he's so far away from his second item, and I don't think he has a BKB queued up. BKB is not gonna do too much here. I mean, there's a lot of physical damage.
Fade spotting out the DK here. The stomp's gonna come out, and well, they are all moving over this direction. He's just gonna drop the ulti as well onto LTW, down to half HP. No joke.
Just a casual ET ulti to scare him away.
I guess this is one of those games too where it just feels so bad because he can't get anything done. Illidan though, he finds Sylar, pops the ulti, wants to do this, the stun to follow, that's a big kill.
Yeah, Sylar kind of overextending, being there alone, just farming their stacks.
Alma can't blink now, does still hang on to that haste, gonna pop it now, and now there's the runaway.
They can still take a fight.
They're thinking about it.
They don't have ET ulti, they know Sven ulti is running.
Oh god, Avatar, they jump forward, he just gets destroyed. Now they pull back into Sven, trying to throw out the rock to slow him down, but look at the damage coming, the tree toss and everything else. Illidan trying to run, but they toss forward and find a double. Kama just all over them. Team Spirit are getting punched in the mouth, and there is no reprise at all. The right clicks come in, and that is gonna be another dead Enchantress. No buybacks on these heroes.
They don't have a response for this. These two frontliners from VGJ.Thunder are so tanky. You have almost 2.5k HP Tiny, and you have same HP on Lycan. Lycan is back with Necro Book on. Roche will respawn in 40 seconds, and they should just go for tier 2 tower on the bottom lane and go for that Roche. This is why I was saying that the Echo Saber is a bad build. You really don't feel the influence of this item at all.
Yeah. Does definitely struggle the last couple of engagements with getting into the fight and making sure that he's in the right position to make it all happen.
Well, they don't have a way to get close to the Dazzle, so whoever they focus first will get graved anyway, because Sven does not have a blink.
And that just happens. And like, you can't do anything to stop that here.
Yeah, even if Earth Spirit goes in, they have no follow-up.
Well, grim stuff indeed right now for Team Spirit, as the BKB is going to be delivered for the DK. I mean, how long do they need to delay? How many team wipes do they need to get to make this happen? Because it feels like they're always going to be behind.
Well, the second BKB on Sven is going to help a lot against kiting things from Batrider, sticking up palm, which is really good against Sven, Tiny Combo, and Echo Stomp. But they still have a lot of ways to deal even with the BKBs. They have Lasso, they have Grave, they have Weave just to counter the damage.
Now, when you mentioned Roshan, it is back up now. If VGJ.Thunder catch wind of this, they might decide to just move in and take it down. But whereas in that previous game, it felt like there were heroes that could sort of make a comeback and the Terrorblade was always on top. This game, it's mainly coming down to the Sven, and he's still pretty far away from being very, very effective. But a smoke comes out now as VGJ.Thunder are going to move into the Roche pit, and the call comes maybe to head towards mid. Who runs into who?
FNG already drew on the map how they want to go.
All right, moving into the pit. There's the roll in, a little bit off the mark, throws out the stun, still does hit onto the Lycan, but that only signals that Team Spirit were in the area. So VGJ.Thunder very aware of their surroundings.
VGJ.Thunder has so much vision. Astral plus Wolves plus Book.
Maybe another roll in?
Yeah, so they should be aware where Team Spirit is. Plus they have Illusion as well, because why not?
Yeah, they move in. This Roche is going to fall, and there's not a whole lot that you can do to try and stop it. Immediate smoke up. VGJ.Thunder do not want to prolong this game as they're looking forward and find themselves the DK, pull them back in. Team Spirit say, well, we want to try and help, but there's no way to do it. BKB comes out, maybe a way to turn this one for a moment, but they get the Grave out. Just like you said, Avatos, the damage is so significant. FNG is going to fall. Illidan, though, just beating the heck out of the Tiny, able to run him down. Sylar trying to run. He still is taking a lot of that damage over time, as off to the side, the Stomp connects. So still the kiting continues.
Yeah, they can still take a fight.
Oh God, and there's going to be the DK brought down to very low HP. He does manage to get a little bit of his haul up, but he is going to eventually fall. Lift up on the Sven. Now he's all left alone. The right click's coming, and Illidan falling. Another good stomp, going to find the sleep and the stun to try and interrupt it, but they do manage to eventually bring down that Sven.
Sven has enough damage to kill someone, but they can't focus the Dazzle. They have nothing to get close to them. That's the big problem in this fight. So whoever they decide to go for, it's a guaranteed Grave. They had Cheese and Aegis. I don't think they used Cheese. Yeah, he's still on the Lycan.
26 minutes in, and it's 26 kills to 7. And it looks like all of the barracks are fallen. I mean, DK Phobos, there's not really a whole lot that you can do in this position, as the entire lanes of barracks are falling, and still 20 seconds before Sven is able to respawn. Team Spirit on the verge of elimination here in the lower bracket finals. Gonna try and put up maybe one final defense against Mega Creeps, but VGJ.Thunder are looking dominant in this one.
I mean, it's an elimination game. You have Sven. You will try to fight one more time.
One
if
last
it was VO3, you would actually call the game already.
Now, and a haste rune down bottom as well. Illidan, he has that BKB. He's only used it one time as he wants to try and farm up. And FNG, we've seen this story before. He didn't even get a chance to land before he was dead.
So I don't see Team Spirit getting back into this game. Let's be real. They can. I don't know what they.
I'm with you, man. It's a hard game.
What they need to do.
It's a tough one. It all starts with a mess up. I mean, I would say that at this point it's out of their hands. This requires VGJ.Thunder to be the ones that are making mistakes for sure, which so far they haven't really shown that they're going to do. It's going to be a weave up, holding on to that cheese for Sylar. And maybe one last punch in the gut as they catch the Sven right off the mark. Gonna catch him, gonna sleep him, gonna kill him. And this is Biver also being pushed around, and GG is called. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a rematch of the upper bracket finals, VGJ versus EG.
Yeah, that's gonna be hype. I think everyone expected, not everyone, but most of us expected VGJ to be in the finals against EG, and we're gonna have some good games.
Absolutely, and I mean, nothing to take away from Team Spirit either. They came in as underdogs, and I feel like put on a hell of a show for all the crowd out here in the Philippines. Looking forward to the next series. We don't want to go too in-depth into it, but things that you want to look out for. Anything that really stands out to you from VGJ's play in this one?
Well, once VGJ gets their lineup that they want, ROTK helps with that a lot. I think he is actually the drafter for VGJ.Thunder. I think I mentioned it in the previous panel that VGJ is one of the teams that can compete with any Tier 1 teams, but can also look like a Tier 2 team at any day.
Yeah, it's who's going to show up from VGJ.Thunder, absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it here for the lower bracket finals. Still to come, best of 5 grand finals, but first back to the panel.
Thank you, Lyrical. Thank you very much, Lacoste. Welcome back to the panel, everyone. And looks like VGJ, they completely shine in that last match. We're going to be getting a rematch, boys.
Everyone's coming into this series angry, it feels. The lower brackets are just going like that. VGJ is like, give me the EG final, let's go.
But we have to say, though, we did follow Team Spirit. They showed a lot of promise, giving us actually a lot of hope, thinking that, wow, are we going to see a Spirit versus EG finals? But VGJ, would you say this is similar to their performance yesterday versus EG? Were they playing at 100%, or were they playing a little more or a little less?
Looked overall like this is one of their more dominant games, I guess. A lot of it was on the back of a draft with a Lycan where you get that early momentum, can and will end games very quickly, as we just saw. They got off to a tremendous lead early on once they started pushing a couple of Tier 1 towers and securing that first Roche.
It feels like VGJ just got pretty much all the heroes that they want to get. Anyways, these are all comfort hero. I don't think this is like 110% or anything. It's just like everyone showed up to play. At the same time, I don't think this was a true test of VGJ either, right? I just felt like they got an easy game. Going into the finals, EG is going to be a very, very tough opponent.
Tsunami?
If this was a way for them to practice for EG, I agree with Lumi that this probably isn't the best benchmark, unfortunately, because me and Gaz were leaning for Spirit because we thought that this hot streak would maybe prove to be the recipe needed to beat out what would most likely be the favorite. I think most people have been considering VGJ.Thunder to be the most likely grand final candidate after getting kicked out from EG, but it's this wasn't like a tri-core lineup that EG have. This was a completely different style of team, and VGJ.Thunder have proved superiority over it multiple times. That's how VGJ.Thunder knocked Spirit down to the lower bracket the first time. They just repeated that performance. It's not telling me enough about how they're going to do against EG, but at least they look good is the most important thing.
Yeah, I think that the most interesting thing that stood out for Team Spirit's lineup was the Enchantress pick for DK Phobos. What were they actually hoping to achieve with that pick? Because he felt non-existent for all of that game.
Yeah, you're picking Enchantress first and foremost to win the laning stage, and Enchantress lost her lane. Not horribly, but Tiny with the tree grab just cleaves the Enchantress, harasses. You don't get any benefit from Untouchable against the Tiny. Tiny's got lots of nukes, and that was where when we saw the Enchantress picked up in response to the Lycan, it's like, oh, good counter pick, steal the Necrobooks, good laning matchup, but the obvious response from VGJ, you send the Lycan mid. And it felt like Spirit needs to do something similar. Send Enchantress mid, put DK in the offlane. I just felt like you don't pick an Enchantress to put her in a losing matchup.
Yeah, and the other thing is that they picked it to seal the Necrobooks or one of the dominated creeps. Here's the thing, right? Sometimes you pick Bane against Lycan, you quickly realize, oh, just because I control the hero, there's still an army of things, right? Same thing here. You control one of the Necrobook, guess what? There's still an army of things. So the best quote-unquote counterplay, I felt like there was very little impact.
Anything to add, Tsunami?
Thunder recognized it. A lot of Lycans are running scared of the Enchantress. They're like, I don't even want to have to deal with that whole stealing my Necrobook thing. That's my Necrobook. But Sylar went in face first. He was like, go ahead. If you want to come that close to the fight, my Tiny and my Elder Titan will make sure there's no way you're getting out after you steal my creep.
if you've got the edge, it doesn't matter that there's an Enchantress stealing one of your, like, what, 5 units. I mean, the 2 Wolves aren't quite as scary, but you've got 2 Necrobook units, as well as a Helm of the Dominator creep. So that Lycan didn't care if he lost 1 Necrobook, because it meant that a fight was happening, and VGJ, they're ahead. They're going to win those fights.
A fight that the Elder Titan would be able to set up time and time again. This hero is out of control right now.
I mean, I called it when they first picked. I was like, ET's hot right now. I think in the finals, Crit is either going to get ET or it's going to get banned.
So we know Team Spirit now, they're going to be placing 3rd at Galaxy Battles. Now moving on to the grand finals, VGJ.Thunder versus EG. Now, EG, honestly, we don't know what they're doing right now. They're probably scrimming, or I actually don't know if watching any of the games would have helped them. Does anyone know what they're doing right now?
They did a fan signing. Got to think about the fans,
oh,
you know?
Yeah, they did. And there was a really long queue for that as well. So I guess they had to have that meet and greet with their fans. Pretty sure they probably did all their research for VGJ.Thunder last night as well, knowing that, you know, it's either of these 2 teams maybe. If you're VGJ.Thunder, what would you have to improve going into those grand finals?
I think execution was a big area where they fell short in that game too, because they had a big 15K gold lead, and they weren't able to pull through with the win. They didn't have any of their players just like step up and carry them through and get them over the finish line. So that game 2 was kind of, in some ways, robbed away from them. But I don't think it was, I mean, it was through EG playing great, but also none of their players stepping up. So I think they need to look at this series like, hey, we can compete with EG, but we just have to execute better, particularly in the mid to late game.
I'd say execution and itemization to an extent. We had mentioned in that previous series that SF went for a kind of questionable item build against that EG game, and even this game, like, we're mentioning the Sylar thing and the Necrobook counter and all that, but if it was the other way around, we'd be like, oh, well, why'd you build Necrobook if Enchantress is in the game and stuff like that? And so it's confidence to go for these kinds of items, but at the same time, someone needs to be giving a clear strategy, and in that EG game too, the SF did not seem like he was on the same page as the rest of VGJ.Thunder.
So speaking about VGJ.Thunder, unfortunately not being able to close games, Lumi, how do you close games? What's the #1 thing you need to do to properly close a match?
Generally, when it comes to late game, the team that makes the most mistakes is what, you know, either opens the door if you're winning, which is what happened in that game 2, or make a comeback if you could force the enemy team to make more mistakes. Vision helps. For example, in this game, we saw a lot of Vision heroes from the ET Spirits, from the Wolf, from the Bat Rider. So I feel like you could definitely mitigate your mistakes by picking up heroes that could help you do so. And I think the other thing is just jitters. You know, it's perhaps one of the first best-of-5 grand final this team has played. I talked about the experience of Sylar and Yang, but again, some of these new guys, they might not be in this position before, so it's up to them how they cope with this situation. But I think the ultimate factor is, look, even though they lost a best-of-3 against EG yesterday, I'm pretty sure they felt like they could have won that game too and had a fighting chance in the series. And I think walking into this best-of-5, they're going to feel the same way. Look, we lost a game yesterday, but we could win those. Yeah,
if anything, having that first close nail-biter series with EG was the learning experience you need to now play a best-of-5 against them. I think there is a certain, I mean, there's definite extra pressure now being at grand finals, but it's, hey, they're coming out of the lower bracket, they're underdogs, they've been there before, they've lost to EG before. Less pressure for sure. I think it's less pressure.
Yeah.
Everyone was just looking at you, Tsunami.
Less pressure. I mean, it's the youth of the team does seem intimidating at times. That's why I love China always going for these academy teams, as they're known sometimes, because like other regions don't really foster that kind of talent as easily. Like Southeast Asia has tried so many times, and one of the questions that we were asked by some of the Filipino fans is like, what do you think about the influence of 1437 showing up for TNC? It's like an external leadership influence, and everyone always looks to Mushi all the time. It's these leadership influences that help grow and help shape the mentality of these younger players, and that's some of the struggles of these South American teams. Is that South American teams, there's so much raw skill, but they're kind of running around headless. They don't really have any strong, like, voice being like, this is the way we're going to play. Everyone get along, listen to the same strategy, and we're going to be able to win because we're better than these people.
It almost sounds like you're saying like we're trying to globalize the Dota meta so that you mix all of these talents together. You have a mix of NA, SEA, you even have some European players in SEA as well. It's kind of interesting. So that's a very good point to make. Grand Finals has not started yet, but before we even jump into the finals, I need to ask you, what is going to be the final score for the Grand Finals? It is a best-of-5. It's not a best-of-3. We're going to be going in for the long haul.
I'm gonna say 3-1 EG.
Sounds about right.
That was the safe thing. I was like, yeah, what sounds reasonable? 3-1 EG sounds reasonable.
So everyone's just going to be a
know.
sheep here. No one wants to be an independent.
I hear someone say what I'm thinking, and I'm like, oh, I gotta come up with something new now.
Yeah, we can't be a copycat. So I'll go
Last time I copied Tsunami, didn't go well.
Yeah.
So.
I'll go the other direction. China #1, 3-2.
Ooh.
3-2?
This man wants a show.
Yeah.
I think we all want a show, right?
want a
But
show.
before the show begins, we've got to head on over to the main stage because Eri has an interview ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winners, VGJ, who will be facing Evil Geniuses in the grand final. We have Yang, say the MVP, doing very well to carry them, of course, all the way to the grand final. Yang, how did you guys prepare for this best of one against a formidable opponent, Team Spirit? Check, check.
就是这把淘汰赛，你们是怎么准备打雪碧这个队伍？就是你们制定什么策略啊？
没有什么策略吧，就是放轻松，随便玩一玩啊就可以了。
We don't have any strategy for this game. We just simply play as usual. Yeah, that's all.
Very nice. Taking back, you had a match, game 2 against Evil Geniuses yesterday. A match most would say you guys, VGJ, should have won. How did it feel? How do you recover from that sort of loss? How did the team feel? And how do you rally back to the kind of course, performance that you have now?
就是昨天第2把对 EG 的时候，你们是占优势，然后就被翻盘了。就是你们试过后怎样调整回那个心态，然后决定怎样再继续打下去。
我们赛后分了好几层锅，就是随便商量了一下。
All right. So after the game, we are like blaming each other, but at the end we solved out. Yeah, that's it.
We blame each other too. We always do that. Last question. You face Evil Geniuses for a best of 5 grand final. What do you have to say to Evil Geniuses for your final match?
就接下来对 EG 的决赛，你有什么话想对他们说吗？
我们肯定能赢的。
We are gonna win for sure.
We are gonna win for sure. We have a grand final, VGJ versus EG, coming right up. Let's go, Philippine Arena. Congratulations, Yang. Good luck.